Hey, it's Lee Ann here, and today I wanted to talk to you about something that came up a couple days ago in a podcast interview that I was doing. And the interviewer asked me, when does it get to the point where you are just straight up bitching? And so I shared with him that, and I believe that the infographic I made is in the actual book, but I shared with him my different distinction between bitching and ditching, because it's really easy to get caught up in looking for all of the areas of our life that we don't love or that we want to upgrade. But if we don't take that awareness and catapult it into action, it's really easy to get caught up in it and sort of just stay in it as opposed to move past it. So the way that I distinguish it for people, there's two different things or patterns that I've noticed, and it pretty much happens hands down with anyone I've ever worked with, including my own struggles, right? If there's a bitch around, okay, she's probably going to impact you in a couple different ways, or more than a couple different ways, but there's two things that either are one of the two are going on or both of them are going on, okay? The first one is, where are you not giving yourself credit? Where are you selling yourself short? Where are you shrinking yourself? Where are you being your own bitch and not in a fair or reasonable way? So that's the first one, which is kind of the typical definition of bitch as I use it. But there's another side of it too. There's the side of, where are you being way too hard on yourself and not having compassion for yourself? Where do you there's a difference between needing to tighten up the reins or be a little bit more disciplined with yourself. But then there's a side of it of, where are you setting your expectations too high to the point where you can't even live up to them, and you are creating a situation that is causing you to lack compassion for yourself. And so there's two areas to take this into, okay? One would be, where do I need to have more compassion for myself? Where do I need more love? Where do I need to remind myself of how amazing I am and how special I am and how I really do got this and how I can handle it? And then, where do I need to actually tighten the reins? Where do I need to upgrade my discipline or my self-esteem or my self-control and to take myself to the next level? Because that second point that I shared, if we stay blind to it, and if we don't actually acknowledge the areas of our lives where it's not a bad thing or making you wrong or weak or anything like that, it's just okay, I'm not living up to my full potential in these areas. And no one is ever really living up to their full potential. That's why we're always looking to grow ourselves, right? So if you can look at it in terms of those two distinctions, where am I being way too hard on myself, not very kind to myself, not giving myself compassion or love? And when I say compassion, just like feeling your own pain and saying, you know what, that sucks, or that hurts, or that struggle's real, and not as an excuse or babying yourself kind of way, but just acknowledging that you feel a certain way or that you have been trying or whatever it is. That compassion and giving yourself some more love side of things. But then that also, that the flip side is, where are you just kind of making commitments for the sake of making them and not staying true to your word or your commitments or your promises to yourself? Where do you need to tighten the reins and maybe hold yourself more accountable? And I think if we all just kind of pull from both sides of those and in a bit more of an equal fashion, we would find that we get to move past those struggles a lot faster, a lot more easily, because it's essentially like playing devil's advocate. Okay, let's say I am being my own biggest bitch. Where am I right and where am I wrong? Where do I need more love and where do I need more tough love, right? And I think if we can distinguish between those two things, we will set ourselves up for not having to focus on it so much in the future. It'll just become part of who we are being. So that is my bit of a distinction for you when it comes to what's the difference between bitching and ditching. Ditching is essentially what I just said, and bitching is complaining about the things that you can and cannot change, assigning blame, never taking ownership of who you're being or who you've been up until this point. And if you can use those two distinctions, that is a form of taking ownership of who you have and haven't been being. Give yourself some love and remind yourself how amazing you are, and then give yourself a little smack across the face if you need it, or a bitch slap if you will, and tighten up the reins a little bit. But either way, that is being fair, and that is ditching and not bitching. So I hope that clarified things for you a little bit if you fall into any one of those traps, and I will see you soon.